In this video, I am going to talk about the image that you're looking at. The supposedly magical, fantastical, amazing, never seen before in any camera. I'm going to talk to you about the Helios 44-2 and why I think it's kind of overrated in a way. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a good lens. But, you know, like, I don't happen to think it's all of that. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. I don't think it really makes any difference, to be honest with you, when you have your story, you have your script, and you have everything mapped out. And I think if you have any vintage lens, or if you use anamorphics, I think the 44-2 is really no different than anything else. Right now, I'm shooting wide open at f2. Got plenty of bokeh in the back. Can you see any like amazing, crazy magic back there? I don't know, I'm shooting 4x3 right now. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to tell if it's that magnificent, you know? I mean, I've owned it for a while. Every time I use it, I feel like I'm focused more on trying to see the magic that everybody's talking about as opposed to just focusing on the story. It kind of gets in my way, you know what I mean? Because of its reputation. Like, the reputation precedes it. You put it on your camera and people say that's all you're ever going to need. You're never going to want to use any other lens. It's amazing. You've never seen anything like this before. And I don't know. I just don't see it, you know? I mean, it's great. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it ruins the shot or anything like that. But what I am saying is that I don't see the difference, that big, huge difference to get this Russian lens, this 44-2, this, you know, the lens that is like mecca of lenses. Like, I don't know. I don't feel that way about it. And it's 58 millimeters on a full frame camera. I mean, I have a great 50. I got the 20-60, so I got 60 covered. I have my anamorphic lens, which is a 75 millimeter APS-C lens, 1.33, and that's around an 85 millimeter, which, okay, 85's got nothing to do with 58, but I have a 50. Minolta Rokkor 50, that is the best lens that I own. I mean, it's incredible. That lens, I actually see characteristics that I don't see in any other lens. But with the Helios, I don't really see characteristics that I don't see on any other lens. Like, to me, it feels kind of generic, you know? I don't really see the corners looking all that different. I don't really see the you know, swirling bokeh that people talk about. Like, maybe it's because I'm used to shooting with anamorphic lenses, but I don't really see a big difference. And, you know, I feel like I'm being negative about it now, and I'm not being negative about it, but I'm just saying, I think it's fantastic because they're cheap. Like, you can get them for I got this for 75 bucks. And I had a few issues with it at the beginning. The lens was you know, I had to spin everything around because the numbers were on the bottom, and I had to unscrew it, and I had to do some, you know, some maintenance that I'm not used to doing because, you know, I'm used to living in the city, so I don't know how to fix anything. I know how to call the super. You know, the Bronx will do that to you. Brooklyn will do that. Manhattan, every part of the city will do that to you. Like, you know, we're kind of used to calling the super. So anyway, I digress. I don't, you know, like, I don't know. You know, I was so excited when I got it, and I used it so many times, but I noticed that I never use it on a serious project because on a serious project, I guess because I'm matching lenses. So I'm using 2 Minolta lenses, or I'm using all my anamorphic lenses, and the Helios, I mean, I can match it, obviously, but I don't because why would I? It doesn't look that different. And 58 is not that far from 50, and I don't know. I kind of bought it because Mark Bone loved it, and I follow his channel, and so, you know, I'm like, I guess I'm like one of these YouTube guys who follows the leader who says, you must buy this lens. Everybody should have a Helios. Once you put it on your camera, you'll never want to do anything else. And a lot of other people talk about it, and it just has like this legendary status, and I just don't really, I don't know. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do is take it out and get some B-roll with it and shoot some other stuff, but I don't know. I mean, it's beautiful, you know, but I think it really has more to do with composition and, you know, your shooting style, you know, the aperture that you choose and which you can do with any lens, you know. So, I mean, it's fast enough. It's an f2 on a full frame camera, so it's really fast. So that's a good thing. It's great in low light, you know. You have the opportunity to create a frame outside too, any way that you want to with an ND filter, because then you can really push the aperture and, you know, get the blurry background that you want if you're into that type of thing. But the thing is, usually when I'm shooting my narrative work, I'm usually shooting around f8. The fastest I'll shoot is f5.6 unless I'm getting a very specific shot that I want to just blur out the background. But, you know, like if I'm shooting at f8 all the time, or even f11 sometimes, like what difference does it make? It doesn't make a difference at all. I could use my Minolta Rokkor 50mm to go with my Minolta 28mm, which is, I'm shooting 28 or 50 90% of the time when I'm using my spherical lenses. And with my anamorphics, I have the 24, the 35, and the 75. And you know, I'm not gonna bring a spherical lens in if I'm shooting everything anamorphic anyway. Probably. I mean, that's the way I do it. Like if I'm shooting a project anamorphic, I'm gonna use all anamorphic lenses. You know, especially if they're all the same brand. My Siri, APS-C 1.33, those are going to match really well. The colors, you know, the character of those lenses are all pretty much the same. So I don't know, you know, I don't know what is the special usage of the Helios 44-2? Like what circumstance are you using the magic for exactly? If you can see the magic, what exactly are you using it for? Although, I guess if you're shooting something really short, if you're shooting a commercial or something like that, maybe you'll shoot the whole thing with the Helios. And it's 58, so if you need wider shots, you're going to have to get way back away from the camera. And at that point, I don't know what's up, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You tell me. I mean, I like it, but I could easily sell this lens. You know, if they were really valuable, I would sell it in a second because I don't need it. You know, I hardly ever use it. Maybe I'll give it as a gift to somebody at some point. I don't know. Probably not, because I would probably sell it to get my money back. But you know, there's like this thing in me that says, don't sell the Helios. Like, do not let that lens go. Everybody thinks it's legendary. You're stupid. You don't see it. You don't get it. So I'm not gonna let it go, but I could let it go at some point because it's sitting on my counter. I take care of it, you know, I take it out every once in a while just to use it, just for fun. And every time I do that, I'm like, what's the magic? You know, where is it? What am I missing? What am I not seeing? I don't know. You know, I've had people say, yo, you know, like people say to me like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you just can't see it. You know, like there's something wrong with me, or I'm lacking in some way. Like I don't have that level of vision or that level of understanding and comprehension. Like I just don't get it. I mean, I don't know. Is that true? Is that the case? I don't know about that. So I don't know what's up with it, but and you know, since I'm shooting at f2 and I'm about 6 feet away from the camera, I hope I've been in focus this whole time, because I just realized I was standing a little further back than where I marked it, so I might have screwed up this whole part of the video, which would be pretty funny, because then it would show that I'm an idiot, you know, I don't get it. But I don't know, I just, you know, like I think I have pretty great instincts for filmmaking and photography, and whatever I'm not getting, I personally kind of feel like it's not there. You know, I mean, I think it's cool, and I think actually that all lenses, all older lenses have their own character, and that is a true thing. I mean, unless you're buying like brand new G-Master or you know, Panasonic Leica lenses or something like that that are new, modern lenses, those are going to be really clean, you know, but you're not looking for character, you're looking for perfection in those lenses. But with these vintage lenses, we are looking for character. We're looking for those perfectly imperfect tools to express ourselves, and I feel like the Helios is in that category. But I don't know. I think it's overrated. I mean, I've never heard anybody say that, you know, and so I figured I would say it. Like, and I bet you a lot of people feel the way I feel. I bet you a lot of people are watching this going, I kind of agree with him, but I'm not going to say anything because then I'll be different than everybody else, and then I'll get criticized and told that I'm blind or stupid or have no filmmaking instincts or photography instincts, or I don't know, but I swear to God, I just don't really think it's all that magically special. I went through this whole spiritual journey of finding it and choosing the right Helios, because there are all kinds of different versions of it, and I know that I have a good one, and but I think the differences are really in the build quality of these Helios lenses. I think the glass is pretty much the same on most of them, from what I understand. But I went through the whole thing. I was like, if I'm going to get a Helios, I got to get the right Helios, and I got to go through this process in the right way. And so I really did my research, and I did all that, did all that educational journey stuff, and then I got it, and I was all excited, and then I had to, like I said, go through fixing it and get it right, and get my adapter to get it to L mount, and I did that, and it worked perfectly, and I went out and I shot with it, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to make me so much of a better filmmaker, and then I just felt dumb. I felt like, I'm lacking in some kind of way. I felt insecure. I felt kind of, like less than, I felt despondent. I got kind of depressed. I went into this deep, dark, black hole of emotions where I just couldn't get out of them, and I just felt like I couldn't, who do I think I am being a filmmaker, being a storyteller? I'm nothing but a theater artist. I need to let the camera go and forget about this, because I don't see the magic of the Helios lens. Obviously I don't even deserve to own a camera, to put a lens on the camera. Who do I think I am? But then I started to think, what, go back and look at the work that you've done. Go look at the films that you've made. And I did that, and I'm like, these are really good, but I didn't use the Helios in any of them, And then I went and I looked at other work, and I looked at my photography, and I was like, I never used the Helios on any of this stuff, and it all looks good. And so, then I looked at what I shot with the Helios, and I'm like it all looks like I could have used it. I could have used it, but I didn't, because it didn't make a difference. And why try to pair a Helios with a Minolta 28mm? And at the time I had a Sigma 28-70 f2.8 lens, and why would I match those if I could just keep the 28-70 to go 28-58 if I want 58? You know what I'm saying? And I don't have that lens anymore, because I switched it out for the 20-60 because I wanted the wider 20mm end, and that 20-60 is really a dope lens, although I hardly ever use it because I mainly use my manual vintage lenses, but if I need 20mm, I'll put that 20-60 on my camera in a minute. That's f3.5. It's pretty fast. It's certainly fast enough. It's faster than an f4 that just runs across the whole, focal range. It's 35. That's better than f4. But like I said before, I'm generally shooting at f8 anyway, so what difference does it make? So I don't know, this is not about that. This is about the Helios 44-2, and I'm trying to figure out the difference. I'm trying to figure out what's so secretively magical about it that everybody thinks is so remarkable. I'm not, I guess, just not on that level, I don't know. So I'm going to end this video now, feeling like a failure, feeling like less than, but I'm only kidding because I feel fine, I know I'm proud of my work. I like what I do. I love what I have. I don't, but I have the Helios, and it's fine, but it just kind of takes up a little bit of space, you know what I mean? And, I could get rid of it, and I could sell it and probably make $50 or something like that, although, I kind of fixed it up. Maybe I should sell it for like 85. Well, I'm not going to sell it because, Mark Bowen loves this lens. So why would I sell it? I would be crazy. At some point, I'm going to get it. I'm going to understand what the magic is, what to look for, what I don't see. Probably Roger Deakins knows, probably Ryan Coogler would definitely know, Spike Lee would know, all these guys, they would definitely know, but they're, I'm not them. So maybe at some point if I meet somebody like that, I'll ask them, but I'd be embarrassed to ask them because I feel like just YouTubers know why, it would be embarrassing for me to admit that I don't know, that I don't see it. You know, that would be kind of put me in a weird position, but I don't really care what anybody thinks about me, so I would definitely ask that question, like, I don't care what you think, I don't care what anybody thinks of me or what I know, but I do. Everybody does, you know. I mean, I remember once my mother said to me about something that had been, you know, like between us for my whole life, and it was just this whole situation, and I realized something. It was like an epiphany. I was like, oh my God, I realized I was wrong about something about her for something that I had thought about literally for my entire existence. And I was like, Mom, why don't you tell me? I've been like abusing you about this for my whole life. Like, why don't you say something? And she said to me, hey, you know, I didn't need your approval. And I thought, wow, she's the most powerful person I've ever known in my life. And so I kind of, you know, I feel like I'm like that, you know, like I don't really care what anybody thinks of me. So if I don't get the Helios, like if I don't get it, if I don't understand what's so magical about it, I'm okay with that. I mean, it's an awesome lens. It's great. It looks cool. It's fun to use. It's got 2 aperture rings. You got to figure out how to do that whole thing, you know. You set the aperture, and then you can always go back to f2. And somebody told me that the reason they did that was because you can make it as bright, you can make the image as bright as possible to get your focus, and then you could put the aperture back to where you set it, or you can move the aperture around if you want to. Like, that's pretty cool, you know. So it's an interesting lens. I don't know of any other lens that has 2 aperture rings. Like, I don't know. There probably are. I'm probably not in that loop, you know, but maybe there are a bunch of those lenses. I don't know. I think this is the only one. That's my opinion. Like, I'm guessing that's the only one, but I'm probably wrong about that. There's probably like 27, you know, Russian vintage lenses that are like that. And so that's what the video is about, the Helios 44-2. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah.